Hey guys, it's your boy Nick with Pick'em and we are back with another video for you guys. We're gonna be talking about UFC Fight Night, Grasso versus Shevchenko 2. This is gonna be the rematch between these two. Guys, let's get into it. This is gonna be my quick picks video. I'm not gonna go into too many details, but I am gonna be talking about why I'm picking them and why I'm picking each fighter to win and which round and the method of victory also. This fight card, we had a lot of cancellations on this fight card already. We had like 9 fights cancelled already on this fight card. So you can see here 9 fights. We were supposed to see Shavkat versus Kelvin Gastelum on this card. But then they made Holland versus JDM, which is a pretty good co-main event, I'd say. The main event is pretty damn good too. It's a title fight. On a fight night card, it's gonna be amazing. Let's get into it, guys. The first fight on the fight night, we have Josephine Knutsson versus Marnic Mann. Knutsson is better everywhere, I think this fight goes, but 5-1 betting line is crazy to me. I do think she's kind of wide on the betting line. I don't want nothing to do with the betting line if I'm being honest, but Josephine Knutsson trains out of Sweden. She trains with the Chimaev's training camp. She's got good training partners over there. She's good fighter everywhere. Good skilled on the feet. Good skills on the ground. Good skills all around, I'd say. She's got good cardio also. Her fight on the Dana White Contender Series was impressive. She fought this season too. She fought this year on the Dana White Contender Series like a couple of weeks ago. She only fought like a couple of weeks ago, like 1 week ago, yeah, against ISIS or Beak. She put up a good fight. She almost head kicked this girl and got a knockout in the first round, but where Beak was able to survive and go to decision. But she dominated that fight pretty much. I think she wins either by decision or she finishes her by submission on the ground. She can even find a knockout on the feet, I'd say. So we're gonna go Josephine Knutsson by submission. I'm gonna say Josephine Knutsson by decision. Let's go to the next fight now. We have Campbell versus Reyes, Alex Reyes. Campbell. There's no odds on this fight yet, but let's talk about Alex Reyes first. So this dude, he's 36 years old. He is 5'11" with the 73 inches in reach. Trains out of Cage Combat Academy. Fights out of California. So he's coming off after 5 years off. He hasn't had a fight in 5 years. His last fight was against Mike Perry. Back in 2017, so he's coming off a big layoff. 5 years layoff is kind of crazy to me, but let's see how he looks when he comes back after 5 years. 5 years is a long time. Yeah, they tried to match him up against Nasrat, Trevor Peek, and Natan Levy, but all of those fights were cancelled for some reason. He was supposed to fight Natan Levy, I think, this weekend, but Natan Levy had to pull out for some reason, and now he's gonna be fighting. Charlie Campbell. Yeah, man. So his last fight was against Mike Perry, who's fighting at bare knuckle boxing right now. Mike Perry knocked him out in the first round though. So yeah, he's taken a long time off since then. Charlie Campbell is a 28-year-old prospect who trains out of Ray Longo and Weidman MMA. He is getting good work in over there with some top-level fighters there. They're really good at game planning over there at the Ray Longo gym. Really good with those game plans. They know how to win fights. His Dana White Contender Series fight didn't go too well for him. Chris Duncan knocked him out in the first round. We know Chris Duncan is a legit fighter. Chris Duncan has some good skills for Charlie Campbell. So No shame losing to Chris Duncan, in my opinion. He's fought in Bellator too. He's had 2 fights in Bellator against some good level competition. He's fought some good level guys. He's fought in Bellator. He's 2-0 there. Like I said, he's knocked out a guy like Josh Streaker, who's a good regional level fighter. He knocked him out in the first round, so that was kind of impressive by him. That was the first time Streaker was ever knocked out, by the way. Josh Streaker was never knocked out before Charlie Campbell put him to bed. Yeah, he was only knocked out by Charlie Campbell, so impressive win there by him. So I understand why the UFC is giving him this opportunity. This is going to be a very winnable fight for him. I will say that Reyes does have power. He does have 9 wins by knockout, so he does have power, but he's getting up there in age. He's 36 years old. I think Charlie Campbell is going to win this fight. I'm going to say he's going to win by on the judges' scorecards. He could knock him out too, so it's not out of a possibility that he knocks him out. But I'm going to say the judges' scorecards for Campbell. Let's go to the next fight now, guys. For the next fight, we have Tracy Cortez going up against Jasmine Jasudavicius. So Tracy Cortez is the -130 favorite. The comeback on Jasmine Jasudavicius is a +110 dog. Cortez is a 29 years old prospect, 5'5", with has a reach of 65.5 inches. She trains out of Fight Ready MMA, where I think Henry Cejudo runs that gym. This is going to be a good fight, I think. She's been looking pretty damn good. She's 4-0 in the UFC, but her four wins in the UFC hasn't eased all that well. She does have a really good win back in Invicta over Erin Blanchfield, who's looking really good right now. So that's a really good win she has. That's Erin Blanchfield's only loss in her career was to Tracy Cortez. So that win, split decision win, is looking really, really good for her right now. Cortez has looked good since her first fight in her pro MMA career. She got choked out early by Cherry Moraski, and then she has looked good since then. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. So like Jasmine Jasudavicius, she's 34 years old. She's 34 years old, 5'7", and has a reach of 68 inches. She fights out of Canada. She trains out of Niagara Top Team. We have fighters like Mike Malott and many other good Canadian prospects training out of there. She's 3-1 in the UFC. Her only loss came against Natalia Silva, who's a very good striker, we know, and has good takedown defense. She got beaten by decision to Natalia Silva. Jasmine can be hit a lot on the feet. She does leave her head on the center line. If this fight stays on the feet, I think Tracy Cortez is gonna win this fight. But if Jasmine Jasudavicius is able to mix her takedowns in, I think she can win this fight. The odds are close for a reason. Both of them have good takedown defense, so I don't know who's gonna be able to implement their game. This is gonna be a very, very competitive fight. I'm gonna pick Jasmine Jasudavicius because she's been more active lately, but I do think this is a 50-50 fight, but I'm gonna pick Jasmine Jasudavicius on the scorecards. I think she out-wrestles Tracy Cortez and outworks her maybe in the clinch, but if this fight stays in the striking range, Cortez is gonna win all day long. Let's go to the next fight now, guys. The next fight we have Edgar Cháirez versus Daniel Lacerda. So Edgar Cháirez is a -225 favorite. The comeback on Lacerda is +185 dog. Lacerda is a 27 years old prospect, 5'6", and has a reach of 70 inches. He fights out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Trains out of ATS Top Team. ATS team where Alex Cowboy trains also. He's 0-4 in the UFC. He's been finished in all 4 losses. I'm shocked that UFC is actually giving him another opportunity here. In the UFC still, normally they just cut guys when they're 0-4, especially when they've been finished 4 times. But it seems like the UFC is looking to fill up these cards every weekend, so they need these fighters still. That's why they're giving him another opportunity here, I think. He has cardio issues, so he has cardio for about 2.5 minutes. If he's not able to finish his opponent in 2 minutes, he's gonna gas out in like 3-4 minutes and get finished himself. He doesn't have the heart to survive, doesn't have the will, doesn't have the ability to go through adversity. He cracks under pressure. His gas tank is horrible. His cardio is absolutely horrible. Lacerda's gas tank is probably the worst gas tank ever in the UFC. He's getting finished left and right by guys, lower level guys. Jeff Molina is not a top 10 guy. Francisco Figueiredo is not a top 10 guy, and he knee barred him in the first round. Victor Altamirano is not a top 10 guy, and he knocked him out in the first round, ground and pound. Vergara is not a top 10 guy, and he ground and pounded him in the second round. I mean, he did have some good moments in the first round against Cesar Vergara. He had Vergara running all over the cage. It was kind of funny. Like, Cesar Vergara was really badly hurt, but we know Vergara has a dog in him, and he was able to survive and rally back and get him out of there. Lacerda doesn't have good durability. I think a guy like Cháirez can take advantage of him here. Cháirez is a 27 years old prospect. He is 5'7" and has a reach of 72 inches. He fights out of Mexico. He trains out of Entrum gym with Alessandro Pentosa, Perez, and those guys. I mean, not Pentosa. My bad there. But yeah, with those guys he trains over there. Not the best level guys to train with, but pretty okay guys. The UFC has given him a tough fight on Dana White Contender Series against Clayton Carpenter, who's a good undefeated prospect. And then a late notice step up in the UFC debut against Tatsuro Taira. Tatsuro Taira was like a minus 800 something favorite against him, but he still put up a good fight. I mean, he went to the scorecards with Tatsuro Taira, didn't get submitted. He even had Tatsuro Taira in some trouble on the feet. He was letting some big shots go on the feet against Tatsuro Taira. I want to see how many significant strikes he landed. Sorry guys, I should have done this earlier. I want to see how many significant strikes he landed against Tatsuro Taira. Yeah, he landed 25 significant strikes. Okay, not bad. Yeah, he put up a good fight against Tatsuro Taira though. He took that fight on short notice too. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he's going to knock out Daniel Lacerda, if I'm being honest. I think he should be a much bigger favorite than he already is here, if I'm being honest. He's a very tough kid, very tough Mexican kid, and he does have the better cardio here. He's a way more tougher kid, and he has better durability also. I think Edgar Cháirez gets it done. I'm gonna say Edgar Cháirez by submission or knockout. I'm gonna say by knockout. Edgar Cháirez by knockout. Ground and pound. Maybe submission. Just take Edgar Cháirez by finish. It's a lock. I think Edgar Cháirez by finish is a lock. Let's go to the next fight now, guys. Next fight we have Roman Kopylov versus Josh Fremd. And Roman Kopylov is a minus 298 favorite. And the comeback on Josh Fremd is the plus 240 underdog. So Kopylov is a 32 years old, 6 feet tall, and has a 75-inch reach. He fights out of Russia. Not sure where he trains out of. Yeah, Kopylov came into the UFC undefeated, 8-0, but the UFC matched him up against some tough wrestlers like Robertson and Juraev, and he got taken down in those fights and he got out wrestled. But then he went back to training camp and made some big adjustments. Worked on his takedown defense, and now he's been defending takedown defense and knocking guys out. He's on a 3-fight streak, knocking guys out in every one of those fights. So what he normally does is he'll get your timing in the first round and knock his opponents out in the second round. He's got really nasty head kicks. He knocked out Ribeiro by a crazy head kick. He literally picked Ribeiro up off his feet with that head kick. If you go watch that fight, that was a crazy head kick knockout. That happened on Poirier versus Gaethje 2 card. That was like back in July 29th. Crazy head kick that was over a guy like Claudio Ribeiro. Then he knocked out Panahele Soriano, also knocked out Alessio De Chirico also. He's looking really good right now. This is a striker versus grappler matchup. We know Josh Fremd wants to wrestle. Josh Fremd is 29 years old, 6'4", and has a reach of 76 inches. He's mainly a grappler, not a technical striker. Doesn't have much power on the feet. Seems stiff when he throws his strikes. If he doesn't get his takedowns, he's going to be in trouble here. I think Kopylov, if Kopylov can defend his takedowns against Fremd, I think he's going to find a knockout in the second and third round. I'm going to say Roman Kopylov by second round knockout. Let's go to the next fight now, guys. Next up, we have Lupita Godinez versus Elise Reed. So, Lupita Godinez is a big minus 440 favorite, and the comeback on Reed is plus 340 dog. The lines are kind of crazy on this fight. This is a women's MMA, but anything can happen, like we know. So it is kind of crazy to see these big, crazy wide lines. So Cynthia Calvillo was supposed to fight Elise Reed on this fight card, I think, but I think Lupita took this fight on short notice. So Lupita is 30 years old, 5'2", and has a reach of 61 inches. She is 5-3 in the UFC. She's fought some really good level competition in the UFC. Godinez is well-rounded everywhere this fight goes. She can kickbox on the outside. She can wrestle if she needs to. She has good fight IQ. She's a tough girl. Never been finished in her MMA career. Her 3 losses are all by decision in the UFC. She's lost to Angela Hill. She got outstruck in that fight. Couldn't get her takedowns going. Then she got outstruck to Luana Carolina. And then she lost by split decision to Jessica Penne. She's got good wins over Sam Hughes. Good wins over Loma Lukbume, Ariana Canalosi, Cynthia Calvillo, Emily Ducote. Last time around, she put up a good fight against Emily Ducote, who's a pretty good fighter herself. Emily Ducote is 4-4 in Bellator, 1-2 in the UFC. So Elise Reed, she's 30 years old. Elise Reed is 30 years old, 5'3", has a reach of 63 inches. She can fight. She fights out of New Jersey, trains out of Kickside MMA. She's 3-3 in the UFC. She's been finished in all 3 losses. Two losses by KO, 1 by submission. Her last fight against Jinyu Frey was a razor close fight, man. Frey cracked her early in the fight, and Frey took her down like 3 times too. Elise Reed has horrible takedown defense. I think her takedown defense is like 50%. It is absolutely horrible, yeah. Absolutely horrible takedown defense for Elise Reed. Yes, she has horrible takedown defense. 50% takedown defense. Yeah, very bad takedown defense. She also absorbs more strikes than she lands. So I think Lupi can take take this fight from her so he can win by submission or decision. Elise is 3-3 in the UFC. Like I said earlier, her last fight with Frey was super close. Lupita Godinez should dominate her in this fight. I'm going to say Lupita Godinez wins it on the scorecards or maybe submission. I think she's going to dominate her on the ground. I'm going to say Godinez gets a submission. Actually, I'm going to say Godinez gets a unanimous decision win. No, I'm going to say submission because Reed's been finished in all 3 losses. And she was almost finished by Frey. So I'm going to say Lupita Godinez by submission. She does have a submission in the UFC, so she could get it done again. I know she knows she needs to finish fights to climb up the rankings. So Godinez with the submission win. Let's go to the next fight now. We're on the main card, guys. Hit the like button, hit the sub button if you guys haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment below for the algorithm for your boy. Let's get into the main card now. We have Fernando Padilla versus Knutsson. Padilla is the favorite at plus 258, and the comeback on Knutsson is plus 210 dog. Padilla is 26 years old, 6'1", and has a reach of 76 inches. He fights out of Mexico. He trains out of pro athletes. He is an LFA prospect. He's fought a very good level competition. Early on, he's fought guys like Dan Ige back in 2017. Dan Ige beat him by unanimous decision. His all 4 losses are to legit fighters. His debut was against Julian Erosa, who Padilla knocked out in the first round. I think Erosa has some chin issues right now. But Padilla, good on Padilla to still knock him out in the first round as an underdog too. He's a very good technical striker. He's also very skilled on the ground. Very, very good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground also. Very dangerous with his hands. Tall, rangy, long striker. Very good leg kicks. He's very durable also. Never been finished in his career. All 4 losses by decision. Now on the other hand, we have I think Padilla has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu also. So now we have Knutsson. He's 32 years old, 5'11" with the reach of 71 inches. He fights out of Ontario, Canada. Pretty much where I live. I live in Ontario, Canada, guys. I don't know if you guys know, but yeah, he lives in my hometown. He trains out of Muskoka kickboxing gym. He's okay everywhere to fight. He's pretty durable normally. He's 2-4 in the UFC. His best win was over Blake Builder last time in his last fight. Blake Builder was a big favorite, like 3-1 over Knutsson, and Knutsson was able to get the upset win there. He outstruck Blake Builder on the feet, landed the bigger shots there, defended takedowns. It does seem like he's making some improvements though. Or maybe Blake Builder just not as good as we thought. I remember everyone lost money on Blake Builder that night. A lot of people were betting on Blake Builder. A lot of people had Builder in their parlays. Even I had Builder in my parlays that night. Anyhow, man, Padilla should be able to win this fight. I think Padilla is going to be able to find Knutsson Chin, who's been KO'd twice and choked out once. Padilla by knockout is how I see it. I think I have to go against my hometown fighter, Knutsson here. Knutsson has leaves the chin on the center line, and I think a tall, long, rangy striker like Padilla is going to be able to find that range and find that chin. Padilla by knockout. He could get a submission too. I'm gonna say Fernando Padilla by finish. Let's go to the next fight on the main card. We have Daniel Zellhuber versus Christos Giagos. Zellhuber is a minus 250 favorite. The comeback on Giagos is a plus 205 dog. Zellhuber is a 24 years. Sorry guys, excuse me. Zellhuber is a 24-year-old, 4 years old, 6'1" with the 77 inches in reach. He fights out of Mexico, trains out of Extreme Couture. Really good gym to train out of. The head coach over there is Eric Nixon, who just helped Sean Strickland win the belt at 185. Now they have Sean Strickland as a champion. They're doing really good work over there. Zellhuber is a tall, long, rangy striker, very fast with his kicks, very good leg kicks. He has good cardio, good takedown defense, 90% takedown defense. He lands good volume on his opponents. He's got good composure for a 24-year-old fighter when he's fighting, coming off a unanimous decision win over Landon Vinata, who's a natural 145er. So this is going to be a fight against a legit lightweight. His Zellhuber's debut against Trey Ogden didn't go too well. He was like a -500 favorite against Trey Ogden. And I think he had some nerves coming into his UFC debut. Christos Giagos is a 33-year-old, 5'10", with the 71.5 inches in reach. He fights out of California, trains out of Blake House MMA. Lyoto Machida runs that training camp, or training gym. Ortega trains over there also. Mackenzie Dern trains over there also. Some pretty good level fighters training out of Black House MMA. He's 6-6 in the UFC. He's had some good tough matchups. He's fought against guys like Moises, Sarukian, and Charles Oliveira. He's lost to Moises and Sarukian and Charles Oliveira. And he's got good wins. I mean, Giagos has wins over guys like Ricky Glenn, who's a UFC veteran, San Soriano, Carlston Manice, Damir Hadjovic. So he's been in the UFC forever, man. He's been in the UFC for a long time. Josh Emmett knocked him out. He's fought Chris Wade also. Grover Burns armbarred him in the first round. So he's fought some really good fighters, man. He's fought some really good high-level fighters in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for over 12 fights. He's been in the UFC for 12 fights now. His last fight was over Ricky Glenn. He knocked out Ricky Glenn in the first round. I think that was over more on Ricky Glenn. I think Ricky Glenn's got chin issues now. And that was like the first punch he threw and he knocked him out with it. He did look good in that fight, but I think that was more on Ricky Glenn not showing up over there, and Ricky Glenn doesn't really have a chin anymore, I think. Anyhow, man, so good win still. He knocked him out, so he did what he was supposed to. Zellhuber should be able to win this fight by decision. I think he can outwork him. I think he can stay on the outside, let his kicks go, let his leg kicks go, rip some body kicks, let some head kicks go. I think he's got good cardio. He's got good composure. UFC slowly trying to build him up. I think one step at a time. I think the UFC wants Zellhuber to get a win here, and it's gonna look good for Zellhuber. I don't think the UFC wants Giagos to get a win at 33 years old at lightweight. I think this is a good stylistic matchup for Zellhuber, who's gonna have some reach advantage and gonna have some height advantage here. I think Zellhuber gets it done on the scorecards. Let's go to the next fight now, guys. Next fight up, we have Raul Rosas Jr. We're going up against Terrence Mitchell. Rosas Jr. is a -540 favorite. The comeback on Terrence Mitchell is +360 dog. Rosas is 18 years old, 5'9" with a 67-inch reach. He's a 18 years old prospect. He lost his last fight against Christian Rodriguez, who's a legit fighter himself. I think he used too much energy in the first round against Rodriguez and burned himself out. And I think he gassed himself out in the first round. He is 1-1 in the UFC. We know he has a very good wrestling game plan. He has very good submissions also. He's very strong for a 18-year-old grappler. Heavy wrestling game plan. He's very skilled, very good composer. I think he will learn from that last fight. I think he's gonna pace himself better this time. I think this is a good step up in competition now. I think the UFC gave him too much of a hard matchup against Christian Rodriguez. Rodriguez is a legit fighter, man. Rodriguez is a legit prospect himself. I think we will see some improvements from Rosas Jr. I think the UFC wants to build him up still. I still think they want to put him on pay-per-views. They're probably gonna get him a couple more wins or some lower level guys and put him on pay-per-views again. He's very well rounded. Good, he can hang on the feet too. I think he's gonna be better on the feet than Terrence Mitchell. Rosas should be able to get it done here. I think he dominates Mitchell on the ground here. Anyways, let's talk about Mitchell. Terrence Mitchell is a 33 years old prospect, 5'10" with not sure how much his reach is. He fights out of Alaska. He fought a bunch of cans in the regionals. He made his debut against Cameron Simon, who we know is a legit prospect. That's a tough debut to make, if I'm being honest. I think the UFC is using Terrence Mitchell to get Rosas Jr. to a win here. I think we've seen him get dominated by Cameron Simon. And I think now the UFC thinks Rosas Jr. can do the same thing to him. I'm going to say Rosas Jr. gets it done by first round submission. And it's going to be looking good for Rosas Jr. after this fight. Let's get into the co-main event now, guys. The co-main event, we have Kevin Holland versus Jack Della Maddalena. Kevin Holland is a plus 100 dog now. Della JDM is the minus 120 favorite now. Holland is a 30-year-old UFC veteran, 6'3", with 81 inches reach. He is very tall, long range frame for welterweight. He fights out of Texas. He trains out of Travis Luther BJJ gym. He's 12-6 in the UFC, but has faced very good level competition in the UFC. All of his losses are to top 10 level guys at 170 and 185. His losses are to Stephen Thompson, Khamzat Chimaev, Vittori, and Brunson at 185. So he's only lost to good level fighters, good ranked fighters. He's a good striker. He will have the grappling edge in this fight, I think, over JDM. But he doesn't really shoot for takedowns. I think he's going to be more dangerous with the submissions game here. He should be able to attack with submissions if this fight goes to the ground at any time. I think he's going to be attacking with ninja chokes and guillotines in this fight. Holland has been very durable in the UFC. He's only been finished like once by Stephen Thompson, where it was a corner stoppage where he broke his hand. He's a very tough guy to put away. Let's talk about JDM now. Jack Della Maddalena is a 26-year-old prospect. He's 5'11" and has a reach of 73 inches. He fights out of Australia. He's 5-0 in the UFC. He's a very good high-level striker. Has a lot of power in both of his hands. He's a very good high-level boxer. He will rip shots to the body and then head. Very good shot selection. He has a lot of power in his punches, man. He will put you away with those punches. He has very good footwork also. He did make some mistakes in his last fight against Basil Hafiz. Basil Hafiz is a tough dude, man. Basil Hafiz is a good high level grappler. I think Basil Hafiz is gonna have a good. I think Hafiz is gonna win some fights in the UFC for sure. He still won that fight, but he made some mistakes. He jumped some guillotines a bunch of times in that fight. Gave up easy takedowns to Basil Hafiz. So I think he's gonna learn from that fight. He's gonna watch that fight back and learn some mistakes that he made. He's got good wins over guys like Randy Brown. He knocked him down in the first round and choked him out. He knocked out Danny Roberts, knocked out Ramazan Ameev with the liver shot, knocked out Pete Rodriguez. Has a unanimous decision win over Angeluso, who's a legit prospect himself. He's got good wins, man. Has a stoppage win over Kevin just said, who just got a win last UFC 293. I mean, Kevin just said got a submission win in the first round at a UFC 293. So that's a really good win over there too. Some other good wins too. He's got good wins also. Jack Della Maddalena, he's been knocked out very early in his career. His first fight in MMA to Alden Bates, who seems pretty powerful and is also fighting still. Yeah, man, good. JDM looks really good right now. Really good. He lands. If JDM puts the pressure on Holland, he puts Holland on the back foot. I think he's going to be able to find big counters on him. I do think we will go along in this fight. Both of these guys are very, very durable. I don't think either guy is going to finish either guy. Holland has, I think, more ways to win. I think JDM has to defend takedowns and defend submissions and keep the fight on the feet and find his counters, close the distance. If he's not able to close the distance, I think he's going to have some trouble. But a striker at his level, I think he's going to be able to find the counters there. He's always had success over tall, rangy, long strikers. I think the UFC is giving him this matchup for a good reason. This is a good stylistic matchup for JDM and a good step up in competition for JDM. I'm going to pick JDM by decision because I'm a biased and I love to watch JDM fight. But Holland is a good fighter himself. I'm not counting him out, but I'm going to pick Jack Della Maddalena because I am 100% biased and I love the way he fights. I'm a big fan of his. I'm a fan of Holland too, but I just like the way his Jack Della Maddalena strikes. JDM on the unanimous decision. Maybe a split decision. It could be a close fight. Let's go to the next fight now. We have the main event of the evening, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. If you guys appreciate all the work that I put into these videos. I do my tape study. I do my research. It takes some time to do the research on these fighters. If you guys appreciate all the work I put into these videos, please subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. Like the video and leave a comment for the algorithm. Let's get into the rematch now. We have Alexa Grasso taking on Valentina Shevchenko. This is going to be their second fight. In the first fight, Alexa Grasso was able to find a submission rear naked choke over Valentina Shevchenko in the fourth round. So that was a crazy upset, to be honest. Grasso got it done as a big underdog there. Yeah, it was in the fourth round. So Grasso is a 30-year-old. She's 5'5", 5 feet 5 inches tall with the 66 inches reach. She fights out of Mexico. She trains out of Lobo Gym MMA, where Diego Lopez and Rena Aldana train. Also, she trains. She's 8-3 in the UFC. We know Grasso is a very good technical striker. She has good speed with her boxing. She has very good speed when she lets her hands go. This time, I'm sure Grasso is gonna work on her takedown defense. She's gonna watch that fight back against Valentina and improve on everything she did wrong in that fight. This fight's gonna look a lot different than the first fight. She was landing good strikes in the first fight on Valentina. She was touching Valentina up. She was landing damage on Valentina. That's why Valentina started going for takedowns when she started eating big counters from Grasso. So yeah, Grasso can definitely strike, man. She has good submission skills also. Like we saw, she choked Valentina out in the first fight. I'm sure Valentina is gonna work on her submission defense for this fight. But I think she's also gonna not be looking to throw those spinning weapons, spinning back fist that she likes to throw. That got her submitted last time around. I think she's gonna avoid throwing those weapons now. Grasso is going to be way more confident this time. I think she will look way more improved. They always say when you become a champion, you get 30% better. I think this is gonna apply to Grasso. Valentina is 35 years old, 5'5" with the 65.5 inches in reach. She fights out of Peru, trains out of Tiger Muay Thai. Rafael Fiziev is the head striking coach at Tiger Muay Thai. Tiger Muay Thai has so many high-level UFC fighters over there, training over there. So we know Valentina is going to be getting good looks over there. Zhang Weili trains out of Tiger Muay Thai also. So we know that she's training with good high-level fighters over there. So we already know pretty much everything about Valentina Shevchenko. We know she was a dominant champion. She's one of the best women's MMA fighters ever. But to me, it seems like she's lost a step now. She doesn't seem to be as motivated as she once was. I think the level of competition is getting harder now in 2023. And I think that's why she's having close fights. She had a close fight with Tyler Santos. And I don't think she wants it anymore. I think Grasso is way more invested. I think Grasso is the one who wants to win more in this fight. So I'm going to pick Grasso by decision is my pick. I think Grasso is going to outwork her. So yeah, Grasso by decision is my pick, guys. Those are the predictions for UFC Fight Night Grasso versus Shevchenko 2, guys. Let me know how you feel about my picks. If you guys agree or disagree with my picks. I'm going to repeat my picks once again. In the main event, we're going to go with Grasso by decision. In the co-main, we're going to go with JDM by decision. But it could be a knockout, you never know. On the featured fight, we're going to go with Rosas Jr. by submission. In the next fight, we're going to go with Zellhuber by decision. And the last fight on the main card, we're gonna go with Fernando Padilla by knockout. On the featured prelim, we're gonna go with Lupita Godinez by submission. And the next fight on the prelims, we're gonna go with the Roman Kopylov by knockout. The next fight on the prelims, we're gonna go with the Edgar Cháirez by finish, maybe a submission or knockout in the second round or first round. I'm gonna say Edgar Cháirez by first round submission, and then Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. And then next fight we're gonna go with Cháirez Campbell by we're gonna go with knockout. Cháirez Campbell by knockout. And the next fight we're gonna go Josephine Knutsson by I'm gonna say Josephine Knutsson by finish, maybe submission. No, actually Josephine Knutsson by knockout. Those are the picks, guys. Let me know how you feel about the picks. I'm pretty tired. I need to go eat some food. I'm done with the video, guys. Good luck on all your picks. Leave a comment below for the algorithm. Leave a like on the video. I really appreciate it when you guys like the video. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't yet. And I'll see you guys in the next one later. Take care of yourself, guys. Stay safe, everyone. And we'll see each other in the next one later.